Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sarah Reagan. I am a graduate student in Dr. Julia Zhao's group in the Department of Chemistry, and I'll be presenting today instead of her for the introduction to nanomaterials. So to first introduce nanomaterials, we need to talk about the scale that we are working with. So to introduce something that we are fairly familiar with, the milliscale, things like millimeters or milliliters, your pencil eraser is about 5 millimeters in diameter, while the pencil tip is about 1 millimeter. The next scale down is the microscale, so things like bacteria, viruses, cells. These are all on the microscale that we cannot see with the naked eye, but we can using a microscope. And the next scale after that is the nanoscale. So to give an example, your red blood cells are about 8 micrometers in diameter, and this is equivalent to 8,000 nanometers. So one nanoparticle that exists is called a buckyball, and they're basically just a hollow soccer ball. And they are about 1 nanometer in diameter, so you can fit 8,000 of them in a line across your red blood cell. So next is, what are nanomaterials made of? And to answer that, you just need to know that nanomaterials are limited only by their size, being that a single unit is defined as anywhere from 100 to 1 nanometers. That means anything else, such as what they are made up of, their shape, their surface modification, can be varied drastically. So any element on the periodic table is up for grabs, any shape, any surface, anything as long as it's 100 to 1 nanometers in size. So this means that we can find nanomaterials pretty much in every field of discipline in our world today, from the environment to medicine, biology, textiles, you name it, you can probably find some sort of nanomaterial that is involved. So when it comes to some examples of nanomaterial research, for the environment, we have more efficient air and water filters. For medicine, probably the most popular area of research right now is looking at nanoparticles and nanomaterials for drug or gene delivery into cancer cells as a sort of alternative to chemotherapy. For renewable energy, this is smaller, more flexible, and more efficient solar panels. For textiles, this is water, UV, and wrinkle-resistant fabrics. Agriculture will see nanofertilizers that are more environmentally friendly than traditional fertilizers, as well as making nanoparticles and nanomaterials for improving the ammonia synthesis. In biology, this is fluorescent nanoparticles for in vitro and in vivo imaging. So in vitro is just outside of an organism and in vivo is inside of an organism. Electronics, we have more transistors per microchips in our phones and our computers, just to make them more powerful in their processing. So this is why we went from bulkier brick-like cell phones to our sleek touch screen phones. For engineering, this is carbon fibers that are lightweight and they can make lighter frames for cars and planes. And also a subset of research for this is making spaceships that can require less fuel to get to the moon or Mars. Speaking of Mars, looking into the future, sadly, we are not at the scale yet that Tony Stark was with his sleek nanotech suit in Avengers, but it would be nice to one day fly around like Iron Man. But more realistically, what we're looking at is lightweight and flexible spacesuits, as well as smaller and lighter nanosensors to put on satellites or Mars rovers, and also solar sails that act as a sail in space that catches solar energy, which then propels it to other planets or maybe even other galaxies someday in the future. So quickly, I'd like to thank my advisor, Dr. Julia Zhao, for giving me the opportunity to present today, and as well as a thank you to all my group members and the faculty and administration in the chemistry department, as well as the University of North Dakota. And thank you all for listening, and this will conclude my presentation for today.